Going live. You are looking live at Sold Out Giant Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants are taking on the 0-15 Dallas Cowboys. Why are Dallas Cowboys 0-15? Because they suck. And welcome to the Gridiron, everybody. Well, the day before opening day, they already had, obviously, the Bills prevailed Thursday night, so we had one game in the books already. But tomorrow, the New York, hard to believe, guys, hard to believe. Tomorrow, it kicks off. Unbelievable. It's simply amazing how fast time flies by. Before you know it, well, I guess when you get older, it seems like time flies a little bit faster. So, like, for me, I'm just noticing, I guess, as the seasons go by anyway, it seems like, the opening weekend, and before you know it, you're like, all of a sudden, you're like week 3 or 4 already. It's like, wow, the season's quarter way over. And then I get, you turn your head again, and it's like you're up to like week 8 or 9. It's like season's half over, right? It's amazing how fast the seasons come. But, everybody's 0-0. We all got some optimism. Everybody's got optimism. Now the Giants, okay, because it's looking like, all right, Kayvon and Azeez won't be playing tomorrow. I know. Dable's giving them as much time or as long as they need, or this, that, and the other thing. So, but it doesn't look good that they're going to be playing. So the Giants, they they brought up Quincy Roche, okay, from the practice squad. So, I mean, obviously to add a little bit of firepower to our edge rushers, okay, because we got, Toman Fox, right? Oshane Ximines, Quincy Roche. So, we need some help there. So they brought up Quincy Roche. All right. And also they brought up veteran defensive back Tony Jefferson from the practice squad. But we lost Max Garcia from the 16-man squad when he was signed by Arizona. Okay. Unfortunately, it's the way it is when you're on a practice squad. Other teams can just come by and, pick you up. Now, I think here, let's see here. Yeah, Garcia will rejoin. Okay, I'm reading this from NJ.com. Garcia will rejoin the Cardinals, the team with which he had played the last 3 seasons with before the Giants signed him as a free agent in March. Okay, so he's going back, I guess, going back home. The Cardinals should be a decent team. So, well, good for him. Hopefully, I wish him nothing but the best. But and we got Jihad Ward too. All right. So we got Toman Fox, Quincy Roche, Jihad Ward, and Oshane Ximines. So apparently it looks like Jihad Ward and Oshane Ximines are likely to get the majority of the playing time in the outside linebacker against the Titans. Let's see here. Jihad Ward has 10 career sacks during his 6-year career with 4 different teams. Ximines, a 3rd-round pick by the Giants in 2019, had 4.5 sacks as a rookie. Tell you what, it was, after his rookie season, and you figure if he just get maybe a little bit better, work on his craft and maybe get a little bit better, 4.5, maybe the next year and get maybe 5 or 6 and maybe get a little bit better, maybe get, get 7 or 8. Has not been the case. Had 4.5 sacks as a rookie, but failed to register another sack in the last 2 seasons. So, he's taken quite a step backwards. So you figure 19, 20, 21, 22. This is his 4th year. Okay, this is his last season, right? Work on his rookie contract. So, if even if the Giants don't wind up re-signing him, he's got a lot to play for. So he needs to make the most of every opportunity he has. Hopefully, for his sake, he stays healthy. I hope he has a monster season. That'd be fantastic. But for him going forward, he needs to step it up this year big time. If he can get himself Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, unless Azeez and Kayvon get injured a lot, okay, which I'm hoping not. But, I mean, it's going to be hard for him to really register a boatload of sacks, because he won't be the starter. As I said, unless Kayvon and Azeez wind up getting injured quite a bit. But it's a big season for him. Jefferson, he's a 30-year-old veteran who was added to the practice squad last week after being released by Baltimore. He's very familiar with the Giants' first-year defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, who had the same role with the Ravens from 2018 to 2021. Jefferson started 35 games with the Ravens from 17 to 19, and he played another 4 games under Martindale last season. Okay, so there's a lot of familiarity there. So it would be good because, he also adds a little veteran presence as well, too, because the Giants are very young there. All right, but, I mean, they can they need some help in the secondary. For sure. Now, we got try to go over this here. We got some things kind of got some things to watch here. All right, for the week 1. All right, the matchup here. All right, with the Titans. It's going to be a good battle. I mean, Giants can have their hands full, without question. Trying to stop Derrick Henry. Although in the preseason, the Giants' run defense was very good. Pretty much throughout the game. And it wasn't like the first quarter, maybe second quarter, whatever it was, maybe when the Giants maybe had some defensive starters in there, or maybe their second team was in there. The run defense was good. No, it was pretty good throughout the game. So, I mean, they did a very good job. They're going to need to continue to do that tomorrow against Derrick Henry. They're going to need to set the edge because Henry's a very, very special ball player. He can beat you. Dable compared him to a modern-day Jim Brown. Okay, so that's a hell of a comparison. Jim Brown can beat you. Jim Brown can run you over, or he can run around you, or, run away from you, right? Derrick Henry's kind of the same way. You need to control him, okay? You need to, you set the edge, right? Yeah. Limit where he can run, okay? When he gets the ball, just don't start caving in. Yeah, his defense has done a very good job stopping him running, especially this preseason, okay? I mean, Dexter Lawrence and Leo the Lion are certainly going to have their hands full, without question. All right. Now, you got a couple things, 3 things to watch for you. Right? This is on an article I found here. Okay. Outside of Derrick Henry, the Titans fans might be hard pressed to name another skill position player on their favorite team's roster after refusing to give Brown the contract he desired. GM John Robinson traded the team's number 1 wide receiver to Philadelphia. He then drafted rookie Treylen Burks and traded for former Ram Robert Woods and signed former Browns tight end Austin Hooper in free agency. So, I mean, all right, they did lose Brown, okay, but I can't say right away they replaced him, but the thing I didn't understand with the Eagles was that the Eagles went, and I mean the Eagles do this a lot. They try to be kind of flashy and all that stuff, and make these big moves and this, that, and the other thing. I still don't quite understand it because the Eagles had a good draft pick in the first round. They traded it to the Titans to get Brown. Then they paid Brown $25 million a season. Well, the Eagles could have just taken that draft pick, drafted a wide receiver, and paid the wide receiver $5 million. So they paid A.J. Brown $25 million, who had 800 yards receiving last season. I know he's good and this, that, and he had 800 yards receiving last year, and you pay him $25 million a year. And I said, then Titans went out and they drafted Treylen Burks. Okay, and they're probably paying him 1/5 of what they're paying, what the Eagles are paying A.J. Brown. But anyway, we got the only returning pass catcher from last year's squad, aside from Henry, is slot man Nick Westbrook. a fine player, right? He had 38 receptions for 476 yards. Yes, I mean, the Titans, their bread and butter is going to be running Henry, all right? All right, so the one nice thing, all right, is that you got to look at is that the Giants' secondary is not their strong point, okay? And, we're not playing Aaron Rodgers, okay? We're going up against Tannehill. Tannehill, a decent quarterback, don't get me wrong, okay? He certainly can complete passes, but maybe not going to quite carve you up like way an Aaron Rodgers is. So we got that on our sides. Plus, also, as I just read here, A.J. Brown is no longer with the Titans, okay? So that's going to certainly help the Giants out a lot. All right. Treylen Burks, all right, he's a promising rookie, but noticeably struggled in the preseason. And Woods is a number 2 receiver who missed most of last year with a torn ACL, okay? Fact of the matter is we don't know what we don't know. We don't know how the rookie Burks will react when the real games start, and we don't know if Woods is still explosive enough. That's going to, all this stuff could help the Giants out. As I said, their secondary needs all the help they can get. Now, in order for the Titans to take their every elusive next step, they'll have to find their explosive passing attack. Well, good luck. They've been lacking, and that every other Super Bowl contender has. I mean, you got to have a passing attack. I mean, you got Derrick Henry, but you're going to need to pass the ball too. It's a passing league, right? And they let A.J. Brown go, right? So now I got here. While the Giants' defense shouldn't be too troublesome, which is, the New York secondary can be formidable. Well, I don't want to get that carried away. I'm not quite sure who wrote this article. Team drafted Kayvon Thibodeau, all right, but he won't be playing. All right, then we got Saquon. When Saquon's healthy, he's one of the most dynamic and exciting playmakers of his generation. Yes, problem is with the last few years, Barkley has hardly been on the field. Yep. In the last 3 seasons, he's missed a total of 21 games. So basically, he's averaged missing 7 games a season, which is darn near half the season. He missed 15 games in 2020 after tearing an ACL and sporadically missed significant time in 19 and 21. And then the problem is that, he missed the time in 19 and 21, but then when he came back, okay, he might have came back possibly maybe a little too early. Okay, so when he had the high ankle sprain in 19, he was supposed to be out for, 4 games, 5 games, whatever it was. He came back after a few, 2 or 3 games, and he just wasn't quite the same player. So not only did he miss games, but when he came back a little early, and he struggled in the games that he came back in. So, he's, let's hope he can just stay healthy for us. All right. Let's hope. 2020 is a make or break year in a lot of ways for Barkley. It's the final year of his rookie contract, and the New York Giants brass have been coy as to whether they want to offer him an extension. Under new management, Barkley may not fit into the team's future plans regardless of how much he plays this year, given his injury history at such a young age. So that's gonna be interesting to see, what the Giants are going to want to do there. Now, let's say the Titans defense, which have a very good defensive front, was one of the best at stopping the run, 84.5 yards per game last season, okay, which is and keeping opposing teams out of the end zone. They only gave a 20.8 points per game. So they do a very, very good job, okay? Now, a lot of it's kind of like it's you got to take a little grain of salt. Because when your team has the ball and you're running the ball, okay, you're churning up the clock. You're keeping the ball, all right? So therefore, the other team is on the sideline. They tough to score when you don't have the ball. Tough to run the ball when you don't have the ball. So you got to take a little bit of grain of salt there. They did good at stopping the run and giving up not a lot amount of points, but also, if they do a good job running the ball, they control the clock, the time of possession, and all, and it makes it hard for the other team to actually score points. So you got to take a little grain of salt there. Then we got, all right, this is going to be interesting. The quarterbacks facing the pressure. Ryan Tannehill and Jones are used to facing the pressure from opposing defenses, all right? But they're two of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL over the last 3 seasons. But this type of pressure is different. It's the pressure that comes from their jobs being on the line. Yep, both of them. I mean, Tannehill is trying to prove that he's the guy to lead the Titans to the promised land. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it for him. Okay? I mean, unless they get totally decimated, the Titans, with injuries, I can see them trying to maybe move on from Tannehill. If he can't do it, and it made it a little bit difficult because they just got rid of his number 1 wide receiver, right? But I mean, you can't stick with the same quarterback year in and year out. If you're there, if you're at the door, you're knocking on the door, you're waiting to kick the door in to get to the Super Bowl, okay? Year in and year out, all right, okay? And your quarterback can't get it done. It's time to get a different quarterback, right? And it's the same thing here with Daniel Jones. Okay, Jones is suiting up for the Giants this year, but he's playing for his future employer next season, which is absolutely true. I mean, the Giants may not. I mean, the Giants, they sent a boatload of scouts, people from the front office to start scouting. They went to Florida. I don't know if Florida played Kentucky, or they went to scout guy from Florida, and they went to scout Kentucky. But they're out. They're scouting. They're out there. Anytime one of those top quarterbacks is projected to go probably in the first round is playing, they're going to have somebody there. Absolutely watch them. So the Giants are very, very serious about looking like quite possibly picking up a quarterback next year. I mean, even if Daniel Jones does a really good job this year, may not be enough to save his job. He might be trying to play for somebody else. So we'll have to wind up waiting and see. Let's see. In this article, it says, more than likely, this will be the last we see of Jones in New York blue. It made more sense to have him play the final year of his contract this season and take a much closer look at the upcoming crop of draft-eligible quarterbacks than it did to trade him in the offseason. The Titans are already one step ahead, having drafted Tannehill's heir apparent in Liberty's Malik Willis in the 3rd round. See, that was not a bad move on their part. Even if Malik doesn't pan out, it was don't get me wrong, 3rd round picks, okay, it's a 3rd round pick. Don't get me wrong, but they picked up Malik Willis, who has the ability, has some very special talents, quite possibly turn into a decent quarterback. Okay, there's a very good possibility. However, if he doesn't, it's not like they spent the top 10 pick like on Daniel Jones, like what the Giants did. Okay, but picking up Malik Willis in the 3rd round wasn't such a bad idea. And let's not forget this, Giant fans. The Giants could have had Malik Willis as well. Okay, so all right, so which may not have been such a bad idea, but the Giants are out there. Those quarterbacks, 5 or 6 that might go in the 1st round next year. The Giants are out there scouting them. All right. Let's see. Sunday, Jones will be facing a Titans defense secondary that could be among the league's very best, led by all-pro safety Kevin Byard and young dynamic cornerbacks Kristen Fulton and Caleb Farley. This group very well could lead the NFL in interceptions. So Jones has got his work cut out for him. Keep an eye on the Titans corners playing physical at the line of scrimmage against the Giants' unsung receiving core of Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, and Sterling Shepard. And Shepard, who's dealing with the Achilles injury, but it seems like he's going to plan on playing. May not get a boatload of plays, but it looks like he plans on playing. Okay. Let's see now. In between, the Giants' top 3 receivers, Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, and Sterling Shepard. They averaged 37 catches and 435 yards and combined for just 1 touchdown a season ago. Absolutely pathetic. Jones should have better protection this year. Okay, so. And given the fact that Tannehill was sacked an astronomical 47 times last season, it's probably not a great sign that the 2 backups from last year could likely be starters this year. Okay. mixing rookie tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere, whatever is left of Taylor Lewan, and no known commodities at receiver, and the Titans might not be starting Tannehill's make or break season on the best foot either. So I mean, so that, you know, look for the Titans to have a tough defense, okay? Right? But you know, offensively, you know, that, you know, doesn't seem like the Titans are going to be like a juggernaut tomorrow, okay? Hopefully the Giants can keep, you know, Henry under control. Okay, it's not going to be easy, but hopefully they can kind of keep him under control. And but the Giants weak in the secondary, okay? However, the Titans' strong point is not passing the ball. Their lack of talent, lack of experience with Treylen Burks out there, okay? And, you know, they don't have the most dynamic quarterback in the world out there throwing the ball either, all right? So look for, you know, the Giants to, you know, have a shot at, you know, controlling the Titans, you know. Not saying they're going to, certainly not going to say they were going to win, but you know, they could be a close game, without question. All right, then we got from the New York Post. We got 5 under the radar Giant players to watch in Week 1. Now we got Wan'Dale Robinson. It's no secret that the receiving corps is lacking. Sterling Shepard will be back on Sunday, but Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney both drastically underproduced last season. Therefore, it looks as though the opportunity is there for rookie Wan'Dale Robinson should he establish himself to move up the depth chart. The Giants spent a second-round pick on Robinson in April, so it figures that the new regime, one that wasn't responsible for bringing in Golladay or Toney, will give him every chance to shine. Robinson, a Kentucky product, said he has built up a strong chemistry with Jones during camp. Actually, I've got more time with Daniel than I did with Kentucky's quarterback, Will Levis, Robinson told the Post. We can really go up to each other whenever there's anything and ask each other a question with how we feel about something. So that's really been great. So, obviously, absolutely. Yeah, keep an eye. I mean, they're going to, you know, going to be shuffling guys in and out because you never know how many plays Sterling Shepard's going to be in there for. Kadarius Toney is supposed to be a go, but you never know when something's going to pop up on him and he's going to have to leave the game because he's injured, right? And then we're going to have to see, you know, what goes on with Kenny Golladay, right? Because you got to remember, you know, this new regime came in. They, you know, Kadarius Toney, Kenny Golladay, they came with the team. You know, I mean, they may not be Dable guys, Shane and Dable guys, right? So we're going to be interesting to see. But, you know, keep an eye on, you know, all those guys, right? Hopefully we can stay healthy, right? Another guy to keep an eye on, which is going to be, big time here, Aaron Robinson. The Titans figure to be going to be matching up, okay, in the passing game. All right, they were 24th in passing yards last season, but yeah, that's that. When you get Derrick Henry, some team. I mean, look at the Bills. I mean, Josh. I mean, how many times? What the percentage times they threw the ball last year? All right, you know, the Titans aren't. They're not a passing juggernaut. You know, they run the ball. You got Derrick Henry, you run the ball, right? So they were 24th in passing yards last season, with most of their offense coming via Derrick Henry and the run. And Tennessee has since lost A.J. Brown, its top receiver in 2021. Well, that adds up to a good chance for Robinson to prove he deserves a starting job opposite Adoree Jackson. Yeah, I mean, I said the Titans, they don't have obviously the greatest receiving corps in the world. All right, so the Giants hopefully can keep them somewhat under control. I mean, they're not going to, obviously, there's no way they're going to stop them, but it's going to be interesting to see how Aaron Robinson does, though, because if he struggles against the Titans, all right, that's not a good sign at all. All right, I mean, there's other teams out there who have good one, two, top receivers. And Aaron Robinson's going to struggle. But, I mean, if he struggles mightily against the Titans, that's not good at all. Then they got another guy, is Austin Calitro. Calitro ultimately is the person who will end up being judged in Blake Martinez's spot after the former captain was cut at the end of training camp. This is the first time in Kalitra's 5 seasons in which he'll have the chance to start every game. He did so sporadically for Seattle in 2018 and Jacksonville in 2019. And it comes in the middle of the Giants' defense dotted with questions. Yeah. So, I mean, keep an eye on him. The Giants, with Jihad Ward, Oshane Ximines, right? Is Tay Crowder going to be at Micah McFadden, Austin Calitro? So you got a bunch of guys in there, that want to prove themselves. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. And I'm looking forward to Quincy Roche obviously being out there too. And we'll see if Toman Fox hits the field at all too. And then we got who's going to be the left guard. Is it going to be Ben Bredesen or Joshua Zudu? It says here, we still don't know for sure who will start at left guard when the Giants take the field on Sunday. A lot of people keep saying Bredesen might be doing it. As Dable declined to answer that question before practice Friday. Whoever starts ends up for Shane Lemieux with his foot injury or toe injury, right, will be walking under a heat lamp. The Giants have suffered injuries throughout their line all summer. And as a result, they have lost a chance to build up chemistry as a unit during camp. Yep, largely as a result of that, this will not be an easy assignment. Although, the Giants have done a decent job, okay? Putting up points, gaining yards, okay? They've done a decent job, all right? But I'm looking here at the stats from last year. The Giants have to improve. The overall total yards last year, right? They were 31 overall. My God, unbelievable, right? And we got the Texans. All right, we're the worst team. The Giants and the Texans were the only two teams that gained under 5,000 yards. All right. Let's see, amount of plays. Let's see here. Giants were 24th with the amount of plays, but the yards per play. The Giants were, what were they? Okay, they were tied for 30th with the Texans. The Giants and the Texans averaged 4.7 yards per play. Only the Carolina Panthers averaged less yards. They had 4.6 yards per play. Okay, so we got turnovers. The Giants, let's see, the Giants were number 1 in turnovers last year. They had 30 turnovers. All right, you got to clean that up. When you're a team, you're a young team, and you're trying to, just trying to win some ball games, you can't shoot yourself in the foot, with penalties, stupid penalties, turnovers. Daniel Jones is going to have to be very good with the ball, All right, let's see. The Giants were, what we got? The Giants and the Texans were the only two teams that got under 300 first downs. Giants had 299 first downs. Giants were 31st in the league, all right, with first downs. Horrible, absolutely horrible. They got really got their work cut out for them. But the only thing you can say is that they got nowhere to go but up. All right, they only won 4 games last year. All right, pretty much not expected to win the division. I don't expect them to win the division. It'd be nice to see them get at least maybe 7 wins. With this schedule that they have, they only got so many hard games, right? If they only win like 4 or 5 games, whew, boy. Oh, boy, that's going to be really, really bad. But, I think that tomorrow, if the Giants can control the turnovers, not shoot themselves in the foot, I'm not saying they're going to wind up winning the game, but I'll bet you I can certainly see this game being a lot closer than, I'm just say the Titans win 24-21, maybe somehow 28-24 or 27-23 or something along those lines. I can certainly see the Giants putting up some points. I'm very anxious to see, what their offense looks like. And it looks like, we're going to have Daniel Jones. All right. We're going to have Saquon Barkley. All right. We're going to have our 2 bookend tackles. Okay. We did take a step back in the tight end position, okay, as of right now, okay, with Daniel Bellinger being out there. Anxious to see what he's going to wind up doing. Because, we had Rudolph and Ingram last year. It was a little more dynamic as far as with the tight ends, all right? But we got a better play caller than we did last year. More modern play caller, shall I say. Looks like we're going to wind up having a full, right? I don't know how much Sterling Shepard's going to be playing. How many snaps, Kadarius Toney's going to play because he's coming back from being injured. Imagine that. Interesting. We got Wan'Dale Robinson, Kenny Golladay. So it looks like we're going to have a full slate of guys, right? So if we can stay healthy, right? Let's see. What's up, Vincent. Bro, are you Italians? Bro, I'm rich. I'm Italian. Yep. I'm part Italian. Yeah. But Vincent, thank you, pal. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Being in the chat. You're the only one. You're the only one chatting tonight. So thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. But I don't want to. Last year what I did, and I just gave up. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I picked the Giants to win the first 3 games last season. I was sick and tired of hearing everybody talking bad about the Giants, thinking Denver was going to come in and whoop up on the Giants. So I picked the Giants. Okay. Then in week 2, I picked the Giants to beat the Washington football team because the Giants do a very good job of playing against them. The Giants actually did beat the Washington football team. Dexter Lawrence on that last field goal attempt, which was no good. Dexter Lawrence was not offside. It was a bad call by the ref. If you look at the replay, Dexter Lawrence moved when the ball moved. As soon as the ball moved, Dexter moved. Dexter Lawrence was not offside. Bad call. The Giants actually won that game. Then when week 3 came around, I was like, this is it. It's all or nothing, do or die. If the Giants at home can't beat the Atlanta Falcons, season's over. So I'm picking the Giants. So once again, I was 0 for 3. And after that, I'm like, I'm not picking another game the rest of the year. What we got? Go Giants this year is going to be much better. Dude, I hope so. I can't see it being much worse. The thing is that what kind of got me was that we started 1-7 in 2020. And it's like, oh man, but we finished 5-3. We finished strong, right? 5-3. So going into the last season, I'm like, well, we finished 5-3. Right? I'm not saying we were going to win a Super Bowl or the division, but we finished 5-3. All right, you do that 2 times, that's 10-6. I'm like, that's pretty good, So I thought we would be maybe around 500 last year, but nope. So we're 4-13 last year. I mean, we got to win at least 7 games this year, right? If I'm going to do any kind of predicting, right, I'm going to. Hey, if I'm wrong, cool. I'm going to pick the Titans 27-23. I think it's going to be a close game. I mean, the Giants have a good run defense. The Titans do not have a spectacular passing offense. Okay, so I think that the Giants will do a decent job of keeping the Titans scoring down. I don't know if the Giants, because the Titans have a good defense. Right, Giants on the road. Right, but, Titans good defense. So I don't know if the Giants are going to wind up winning, but anything's possible. That's why you play the games, right? So I'm going to say this Titans 27-23. And hey, if I'm wrong, cool. If I'm wrong, I'll pick against the Giants every week, and maybe I'll be wrong every week. But anyway, I think it's going to be a good game tomorrow. 4:25. Check it out. And once the game's over, I'm going to be going live once again. We're going to recap week 1 for the New York Giants against the Tennessee Titans. Well, guys, that's about 34 and a half minutes. I had a lot to talk about. Once again, guys, anybody that spent any time at all watching me, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys freaking rock. Or anybody who spent any time at all, okay, watching this replay, right? What we got here? Hey, guys, Bills fans here. Good luck this season with Daves and Shane. I have Barkley in fantasy. Good. Who is the handcuff? Is it low-key Antonio Williams? Seems like he has more of a load carrier than Breida. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm anxious to say because you know Barkley's not going to be in there all the time. I want to see who's going to come in, who's the number 2, who's the number 3, who winds up getting more plays and all that and everything. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. Right? Hopefully we can stay healthy. I mean, I say because nothing will derail a season faster than injuries. But I say, guys, it's 35 minutes, right? Anybody watching? Once again, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your day or night to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there. And as always, go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.